In this video, you are going to learn a lot about Photoshop and become creative as I take you guys through the step-by-step process to come up with this beautiful movie poster. All right, so if you haven't subscribed to this channel, this is Cool Graphics. Kindly subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. And without any further ado, let's get started. All right, we are always in a new documents panel. Okay, so let's go and choose inches, 7.2 by 9 inches, 300 resolution, pixel per inch, RGB color mode, 8-bit. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is let's go into the resources folder and drag in this image. Okay, so I'm going to place it here. Alright, so the next thing that we need to do is rasterize the layer. So right click on the layer and choose rasterize layer, and come over here, probably the fourth set of tools, right click and choose quick selection tool, and from the top here you can choose you can click on the select subject. So it will make a selection around the car, and this is good, this selection is okay. So you can, let's go to select and modify, okay, and expand. So let's expand by, let's say, 3 pixels and click OK. All right, so the selection moves away from the object. If I undo that, you see they will come a little bit closer. You see now I'm redoing, so you modify and we expand the selection. All right, so let me just get rid of this guy. Right click, fill, choose fill from here. Make sure the selection tool is selected. If you select the move tool and you right click, you have this. Make sure the selection tool is selected and right click and choose fill. From the content, choose content aware, color adaptation, blend mode, keep the settings, okay, and click OK. All right, so after that you can just right click and choose deselect, or use the shortcut Ctrl D. So don't worry about this, we are going to need only the bottom and the sides. Okay, so with that, let's grab this guy. See rectangle to select that, and let's zoom out and drag. Make sure it doesn't enter here. Okay, just cover a small portion up here. Okay, right click and fill, click OK with the same settings. All right, so this is what we have, and Ctrl D to deselect, and we are cool. So let's bring in the first car, which is this guy. So make sure when you are resizing, you have it at the end of the shadows. Okay, if I turn it off, you can see, make sure the car is at the end, the tires are at the end of each shadow. Okay, so let's zoom in and add a layer mask. Okay, then grab your brush tool and make sure foreground color is black, and you can set the flow to 50, right, and just hide this tire. Okay, not too much, we just don't want to see that sharp. All right, let me zoom in and change it to white, because I've hidden certain portions of the car body itself. All right, okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is grab a new hue and saturation. Okay, so make sure you click this guy to clip it to the car, and come to where we have master, drop it down, choose blues. All right, and the saturation, drag it to -100. So all right, we take away the blues, then we go ahead and add color balance. Okay, so where do you have color balance? Here, make sure you clip it below, and 82 positive for the cyan, and for the yellow let's make it negative 85. Okay, so this is what we have. We have to match the car to the background. Okay, and if you look at the shadow, you can see the light or the sun is behind the car, so it's actually casting the shadows on top and somewhere here. So we have a shadow down here. That means here has to be shadows, okay, because the sun is behind that. So let's go ahead and add exposure and clip it below. All right, and let's drag this guy down to about 1.4. okay, and all right, that's cool. Hit Control I on the keyboard to invert. Okay, now with the brush tool, let me increase the size a little and let me zoom in like that. Okay, so with foreground white, let's add some shadows over here. Okay, so the sun is hitting the top and hitting over here, so let's dim this guy down, cause nope. All right, so if you check, you can see there are still blues in there. Okay, so they are not blues because we've already lowered the blues. These guys are cyans. Okay, so let's select the hue and saturation, come to master and choose cyans, and then let's drag it down. Okay, all right, you can even drag it to negative 100 just like that. So this is after. You can see there are still cyans in there. We've taken it out, so this is the current one. Okay, so we are going to add, let's select the topmost layer and choose curves. Okay, so make sure we clip it. So let's scroll this guy down and click anywhere. So for the inputs, we are making it 173 and the output 103. All right, so after that, you just hit Control I to invert. Go ahead and grab the brush tool like this and let's increase the size a little. Okay, so we're going to make sure the foreground color is white. And all right, so we have the flow 100 and opacity 100. So let's brush over here. Let me decrease the flow a little. So I don't want to interfere with this highlight, okay, because even though the sun is scorching directly, I mean from the back, I just don't want to interfere with, the sun is quite big and you can't just determine certain angles like that. So let me change it to black and let's hide certain pixels that sorry, let's review certain pixels. So let's brighten this guy back, okay, because we will need some light effects over there. So let's bring it back. Okay, so then let's go to the fill and let's lower the fill a little. All right, so I think this is cool. Let me okay. All right, so let's select the car and go to filter and blur, motion blur. So let's make the angle negative 33 and distance 12. So the car is in motion, but we don't want that. Okay, so we just have to click or select the smart filters thumbnail, Control I to invert that effect and grab the brush, and we just need to make the both sides in motion. Okay, If you don't know why, I mean, you can just, if you know Einstein's law of relativity, you know, certain place could be in motion and certain place could be, I mean, act like as if there is no motion on that. All right, if you don't know, don't worry. So let's brighten up over here. Nope, let's select the curves and then let's brighten this place up a little. Sorry, I had to change it to black. Okay, so let's go back and select the smart filters again, and let's increase the, make sure the foreground is white. Okay, you know, let me double click. All right, and let me increase the distance. All right, okay, so for now let's select the car. The car is already selected. Hold shift on the keyboard and click this, the topmost layer, and you can use the shortcut Control G to group them, and double click on the name and type, let's say, main car. All right, so let's select the layer below it and let's go in and bring this guy. So before I resize it, let's right click and flip horizontal. Okay, so that's it, but it looks like it's in the air floating, so we're gonna work on that very quickly because I don't want to waste so much time in this. Okay, so let's quickly match it to the environment. So what we do, we just go to color balance. Let's balance it with the atmosphere. Okay, so let's push this guy to positive 68, I think, you know, to activate the reds in that. And make sure you clip it to the car, else it will affect everything. So click on this and it will affect only this guy. Okay, so let's balance it with the yellows. Negative 55 would do. Okay, so let's quickly add exposure, clip it, and then let's drag this guy down to around negative 2.44. okay, Control I to invert, grab the brush, make sure foreground is white, and we're going to need that only here. Okay, so just make this whole area black. All right, good, and change it to change the foreground to black, and let's you're going to need this guy. So all right, so the next thing is curves. Let's add curves, adjustment layer, clip it, click anywhere and input. Click anywhere, input 165 and 100. Control I to invert, and grab your brush, foreground white. Let's okay, let's lower the fill. Okay, we will come back and tweak this if there's anything. All right, so then let's select the cop car image and let's go to filter and blur, Gaussian blur. Let's make it 2.2 or 2.3. so let's grab the pen tool, okay, and let's draw something. Okay, then something like this. All right, so what we're going to do is, see, it is clipped. All right, so it has to come below the car image. So let's drag it down like this, and let's double click and change it to black. Now over here you will see mask. Okay, the properties panel, you will see mask. The feather, let's push it to 3.4 or 5, something, that area. Okay, and then we are going to do a very simple task. Just add a layer mask, okay, and grab the gradient tool and make sure, okay, so let's change it to black. Let's make the foreground black and the gradient will also change. So click here and drag in a little like this. Okay, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'll try again. Okay, so let's hover somewhere here and drag in diagonally like this. Okay, so this is cool, and let's lower the fill to, let's say, 95 something. Okay, and the edges are too sharp. I don't want that, so let's increase the feather a little, and the fill. Yup. All right, so this is cool. Let's create a new layer on top, a blank layer like this. Grab the brush with foreground black, okay, and then let's brush over. All right, and let's select the curves, and with foreground white, let's blend it. Okay, so that's cool. Okay, so we are going to do something interesting. I'm going to do one, okay, and you do the rest, because I will skip. I don't want this video to be so long. All right, so this a sun something flare. Is that a flare? So with this, I'm going to change it to linear dodge, okay, and before that, let me just place it here so that I'll get the color. So Control U, you can hit Control plus U for the hue and saturation, and let's drag it somewhere. Okay, so -57 will give you this. All right, let's increase. All right, and the saturation 67. Okay, and let's add layer mask and grab the brush, foreground black. Let's hide, the green around it. Let me increase my flow to 100. All right, so I have this. I will place it here. All right, good. I'll place it in this one. All right, so as I said, I skipped. Okay, so let's create a new layer on top, and let's change it to let's change the blend mode to linear dodge. Add, grab the brush, okay, and with this size, get a size like this, and hold alt on the keyboard and click on the reds. Okay, when you click, you sample a color and click on this guy, click on this guy, click on this guy, click on this guy, and click on this guy. And after that, you can come over here, double click, and select the blues, okay, and click OK, and then you can click inside the white like this, like that, okay, if you want to add something. All right, okay, so we have a cool siren over there, okay, and we are done with this guy. Let's quickly move to the next guy. I don't want to waste time. Okay, so let's, with the top layer selected, let's scroll down and select this guy, the shadow. Okay, select its layer, Control G to group them together, and say Copter. All right, okay, so let's quickly drag in this guy and let's resize. Let's drag it below the Copter. Make sure it doesn't fall into that. Let's go to hue and saturation. Make sure you clip it below, and let's click on the master cyans, and let's make it -53. All right, and then let's add exposure. Let's clip it again and lower the exposure to, let's say, 1.1, okay, or 1.2. That's cool. Control I, brush with foreground white, okay, and let's darken this place. All right, and let's select the hue and saturation and add color balance. So let's push this guy to 56 plus of 56. negative 47, 48. Now let's select the exposure layer and create curves on top of that. Now let's clip it, okay, and click anywhere. If this comes 156 for the input and 91 for the output. Control I to invert. Grab your brush, foreground white. Okay, so let's quickly do the same thing that we did. Let's come and select the car layer. Okay, so this is the car layer. Layer below it, grab the pen to so with this, let's increase the feather, let's blur, add a layer mask, grab the gradient, compress G. Okay, so I think this is cool. So then let's quickly lower the fill to, let's say, 90. All right, let's push it to 90. And if you zoom in, you can see here is too bright, meaning like it makes the car float. It's like it floats. So let's create a new layer, B for the brush tool, and you see this guy, I have mine changed, so you can press D on the keyboard and let's put the car on the ground. So let's darken this place. Before, after. Okay, so that's cool, and I think we're leaving that guy alone. So let's select this layer, the bottom below, above the background, and let's select this guy, group them, and let's say right car, the car on the right. Okay, so with this, let's go into our images folder and bring this car. Okay, so this guy, let me just drag it to the top. All right, let's flip horizontal and resize. Okay, so it's getting hidden. So this guy is just there to put the main car in focus. So we are going to add few things. First, let's balance the colors. So color balance, let's clip it to the car, and 55 and negative 58. All right, so after that, let's add curves. Let's clip it and let me drag. So something like this is cool. And then select the car layer and go to filter and blur, motion blur. Let's set the angle to, let's say, 40. Okay, negative 40, and the distance 40. Let me just increase that. So we are done with this guy. All that we needed was to put these guys in focus. So this is the layer. Select the top with the help of the shift and group them together, and let's say hidden guy. Okay, so with that, we are going in and let's bring this guy. Now let's quickly add exposure. Sorry, let's add color balance. Let's clip it. Let's push to the 75 and the yellows 65. All right, so after that, exposure, let's clip it. Control I, brush, let me increase that, foreground white. Okay, after that, curves, let me clip that. All right, so I think the curves did a very good job with that. Okay, so there's something that we're going to do over here that you need to take a careful note of that. So what are we going to do? First of all, let's select the Copter and let's go to filter and blur, motion blur. All right, so you see this is it, but let's push the angle to 0. All right, the angle is 0, and let me reduce. Okay, so this is it. Let's click OK, and now you see smart filters. Select that and Control I, okay, and grab the brush, foreground white. Let's get the fans in motion. Okay, so the angle where this guy is, you're not going to see the full blade. That's why it is like this. I chose that. Okay, so good. And with this, we are going to right click and rasterize the layer. Okay, and let's convert it back to smart object and go to filter and motion blur again. All right, and let's drag down and change this guy like it's okay, not too much motion, you know. Okay, and let's select the smart filters again and Control I to hide it. Okay, and B for brush, foreground white, and let's put this guy in motion. Okay, not the fans, we don't need to add anything to the fans. Okay, so that's it. All right, so let's quickly let's group this one together and say Copter one, Copter, and let's go and bring this guy. Okay, so let's quickly add color balance, clip it. Let's push this guy to the reds and the yellows. Okay, and let's add curves, clip it. Let's drag it to the okay, that one is far, you know. Select this guy, I mean the layer, go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and let's blur it up. Let's see 1.4 something. Cool, and that's all we need. Let's group that to Copter 2. So this is the place things start getting interesting, and so far if you made it to this place, why don't you just take 3 seconds to subscribe to this channel or click the bell for more videos, you know, to support this channel. All right, so thank you. Even if you're watching it offline, why don't you just go to YouTube and subscribe. So let's come and select the road. Okay, and when you click filter, the second option, convert for smart filters, click that, and let's come to blur. This time you're choosing radial blur. Okay, yours would be at spin. We don't want it to spin. Let's choose zoom and choose best because we want the best, and let's take 3 amount 3. So you can see we just put the road into motion. Okay, so this is before, this after, you know, the cars are in a rush. So let's add color balance. Okay, we can choose to clip it or not. So let me push this guy to not too much. Okay, and let me push this guy. Yeah, okay, so this is cool. And all right, so let's bring this guy. All right, and you see let's add layer mask. Okay, grab the brush, foreground black. Okay, and let's bring back the roads, so you can lower the opacity, the flow, and so that you get a smooth blend on. Okay, All right, let's. All right, fits in perfectly. Okay, so if you look at this, I mean the cars are stable. Okay, I mean they are stationary. So with the principle of movement guiding our eye through, you know, this artwork, let's put them into motion. Okay, so let's put the background into motion. So there are two ways you could do this. You can go to filter, and with the radial blur, I mean go to blur, radial blur. Okay, do you see if we click OK, we wouldn't see the effect because, let me click cancel, because we have selected the mask thumbnail. So let's click the layer thumbnail instead and go to filter and blur, radial blur, radial blur. Let's make it 35. Okay, the amount, zoom and best, and let's click OK. So you can go for this. Okay, let me undo that. You go to filter, blur, gallery, and you go to path blur. Okay, so I'm going to hit delete and delete that guy. So I'm going to click here and drag over here, click here and drag here, click here and drag here. All right, so I'm going to change this basic blur to rare sync flash. Okay, and with the speed, I'm going to make it 146, and the tapper, I'm going to just add only one. Okay, and click OK. So you can choose any of it. So let's add color balance, clip it, so I'm going to adjust few things. First, let's go into the main car, and the curves opacity, let's increase it a little bit. Okay, all right, that's it. And let's go to this guy. Okay, and let's create a curves like this, and Control I, grab the brush with foreground white. Let's push shadows in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is bring in, but let's go back and select the topmost layer. And then let's change the blend mode to linear dodge, and let's create a new layer on top of that. Change the blend mode to linear dodge, hold alt on the keyboard and sample a color from here, and then let's click once. Okay, let's increase the brush a little and click once. Okay, the next thing is grab the type tool and type need. So let me use the Control T for the transform tool. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and choose skew, and I'm going to grab this anchor point and push it here. Okay, so with the need layer selected, let's go to FX blending options. Now let's click on gradient overlay, and the angle, let's make it 0, and click this guy. Let's choose something like red or orange, you know, and over here let's choose yellow. Okay, so let's click this guy back and push this to reds. Let me push this guy here. All right, so that's it. All right, so with the need layer, let's right click and choose rasterize layer style. Okay, and create a new layer on top of that, change the blend mode to linear dodge, add, and right click, choose create clipping mask, and grab the brush tool. Okay, and let's sample from this color. Hold alt and click. Now let's brighten it up. So click inside to brighten up the yellows like that. Then after that, push it to the white, lower the brush size, and then, you know, with the flow, let's increase the flow. All right, so I decided to skip, you know, to save time. So it's just the same process that we did. And for this guy, you see I added a little drop shadow. Okay, so if you go to blending options and you click drop shadow, you make the opacity 29, distance 7, and size 8. Okay, all right, so that's that. And with the gradient, you can see same thing over here. I mean, you can just, okay, so let's copy these color codes and this color and this color code. All right, so it's the same thing for the 4. Okay, and this thing right here, these guys are just pen tools. Okay, I use pen tool for the lines. So you just grab the pen tool like this, you just draw, click and click. So here is fill, so you click the fill and set it to none, and then the stroke, you click, this is the stroke, click and white, and you reduce the size, okay, to match what you see there. Okay, that's how I did those things. All right, so let's quickly move on. Let me just, so I've grouped them together. Okay, all right, so let's go and bring this guy. Okay, so hold shift plus alt and squeeze it down like this, right? Then after that, you can just narrow it down and let's place it here. Go ahead and change it to linear dodge. You can duplicate one here too. Control T to change or scale the size. Okay, so with the light, since the sun is actually scorching on the side, you wouldn't see it very well from the, but here let's do something simple. So let's create a new layer. I mean, linear dodge. Let's change the blend mode to linear dodge. Grab the brush. Okay, you can sample from this light and you just click and drag. Okay, make sure my flow is 25%, so you can just use that. Okay, let's tap in like that. All right, so that's cool over there. And the last thing we're going to touch on is very simple. Okay, so let's go into the resources and bring this guy. Okay, so right click and warp, choose warp. Okay, can drag this here. Let's drag this in like that. So you can choose any shape, or you can just anyhow you want it to be. You can go for that. Control T and resize. So I'll hit Control L for the levels. Okay, and I'm going to push this here. Okay, then I'll go to filter and blur, motion blur. So you know, it's like leaves. I mean, it's because of the speed. All right, I know you get it. So because of the speed, you know, there will be leaves around. Okay, so you can see I added few leaves over here. So 1 2 3, just same process. Okay, so these are just typography, you can use the type tool and just type them inside. They are simple to do. And this one, okay, so if you zoom in, you can see I added, sorry, if I turn this guy on, you can see there are noise on it. See, there are noise. So what I would do is, just if you want to do that, just go to filter and noise, add noise, okay, and you just add the amount of noise you want, but not too much, okay, just. But if you do that without merging them into one layer, it won't work. So this guy is just a single layer. If you want to do that, just merge the whole thing together, select the last layer, okay, and hold shift and select the topmost layer. This wouldn't be there, this is just what I did, and hold shift, control, alt, and press E, okay, you will merge everything into one single layer. Then after that, you just go to the filter and add the noise that you want to add on top of that. Okay, good. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe to support this channel. My name is Punch Cheku, aka the Design Chef. This is Cool Graphics, and I'm out. Peace.